Welcome to our Hog Hoops Recruiting Report. As always, we are joined by our Hogville.net insider for basketball, Kevin McPherson. Kevin, thank you for taking the time with us on your weekend.
Nick, it's always good to be with you guys on the Pig Trail Nation.
We're always happy to have you because we got a lot to break down. We have some recruiting news you got for us, some pro hog news you got for us, but also we got to start with the guys who are in Arkansas in the building at hog practice. I saw a video today, Eric Musselman treating the guys to some ice cream. They've been working really hard. What have you seen any updates from Razorback basketball practice?
Well, they earned that ice cream, Nick. I'll tell you why. I didn't get specifics on this, but I can tell you that the staff was really pleased with how they finished the summer. It's 8 weeks of basically limited practices. They get 4 hours a week on court time for instruction and coaching and going through practice. Basically doing live scrimmaging and drill work. But Tuesday they had what I was told was a very good practice. Thursday was the last day of summer. They've got a 3-week break now till school starts back. And I'm told that Thursday practice was great. That was quote unquote great. And then the next thing you know, Eric Musselman's calling them out, ice cream for ice cream. They're running out of the performance center. There was an actual ice cream truck out there, not the Must Bus, but a variation. I think in the family of the Must Buses, right? Because there's a part of that video where he's behind the wheel in the ice cream truck. So nothing surprises you coming out of the Arkansas Razorback basketball. The wheels are always turning on social media for those guys. But look, again, when you look at what happened last year, you had a lot of roster turnover. Arkansas makes a run in the SEC, wins a bunch of games to close out league play. Basically set school marks that hadn't been seen in over 20 years when you start talking about winning streaks, finishing in the national top 10, and then getting to the Elite Eight. So, the first parts of building a team, and Musselman does it year to year. He doesn't build program long term. He builds it year to year. It starts in the summer. It's those limited practices. And Arkansas just wrapped up a successful 8-week run and capped it off with an ice cream celebration.
It's going to be certainly fun to see how that team grows into their own. A couple of young stars, hopefully, on that squad, too. Speaking of young stars, one is in Fayetteville right now on an official visit in Bryce Warren, a 5-star.
Woo, Nick, let me tell you, this guy is so smooth. I mean, he can score just about anywhere in the half court. I think of guys like Dusty Hannis, how skilled and crafty he was as a half court scorer, because people pinned him as a 3-point shooter, but he could get it just about anywhere inside that arc. Bryce Warren's like that. His drive game is so smooth, and he gets from drive to pull up. It's almost effortless. It's almost textbook, and he's effective. ESPN ranks him as the number 15 player in the nation in the class of 2023. He's a Little Rock native. He spent his freshman season starting at North Little Rock High School, led that team to the 6A Central title. Then his sophomore season, he transferred over to Little Rock Central, led that team to the 6A Central title, and put up huge numbers, 27 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, almost 3 steals per game. And his shooting percentages, almost 57% from the field, 48% from 3. So the percentages and the volume, when you start talking about 27 points a game and those lofty percentages, it really speaks to how skilled he already is at a young age. I mean, he's just going to be a junior in high school, and now he'll play at Link Prep in Missouri, which is an independent school. It'll play a national schedule. His path is very similar to Moses Moody, who started out at Little Rock Parkview, then went to North Little Rock, won a state championship, was MVP of that, then went on to Montverde Academy, a prestigious national independent school. And what does Moses Moody do? He goes in the NBA draft in the lottery. So Bryce Warren's on a similar path, but today he's on an unofficial visit to Arkansas. That's really what we're here to talk about. I wanted to talk about the player, but why it's important for Arkansas as it works on closing out a 2022 class, why it's important to get in these 2023 prospects. You've got a 5-star in-state. He's top 15 in the country. He's been playing up on 17U, and Arkansas coaches were out to see him all July on the Nike EYBL circuit. And again, very impressive. Everybody wants him. He's got over 20 offers. Kansas is in the mix, Tennessee, Maryland. But as we speak, that visit's going on right now, so I can't wait to hear the details.
It's going to be exciting. You always want a 5-star, right? And Musselman has upped that recruiting, so going to be turning to you for those answers when it's all said and done over there on the Hill. Now, you have some other special news for us that you can really only get from right here in our Hog Hoops Recruiting Report. is another sneaky top 50 guy with big interest in Arkansas.
Malik Renew, a 6'8" power forward, Montverde Academy, where Moses Moody just finished up his high school career before becoming a Razorback. ESPN ranks him number 33 in the nation, a high-level 4-star. Today, he announced his top 7 schools. Arkansas is among them. Florida, Florida State, Miami are in the mix there as well, Indiana. But the Razorbacks have really been on a fast track with him. He plays for 17. He played with 17 and under Knight Riders Elite on the Nike YBL circuit. His teammate on that team is 2022 Arkansas commit Barry Dunning Jr., another highly rated guy. ESPN has him in the top 75. So they're teammates. So Arkansas was out in July to keep an eye on Dunning, go to his games, watch him play. And they kept seeing Malik Renew just take over games, almost a double-double guy. And they started, building a relationship there. Well, Renew announced last Monday, just basically a week ago, that Arkansas had offered him a scholarship. This is a fast-track recruitment. Now he has Arkansas in his top 7 schools. He's going to make a commitment announcement on September 1st, he told me. And he also told me that he has an upcoming Zoom call with Arkansas's coaching staff in the next few days. And he's working out his parent schedule, trying to figure out a time he can take a visit. He wants to come to Fayetteville, visit the Razorbacks. Again, it's about a month away till he makes a decision. So he's on a fast track with Arkansas coaches that effectively, if he were to commit on September 1st, it's basically been a 2-month run from start of recruitment to capping it off with a commitment. Now we'll see what happens. I'm not saying he's going to commit to Arkansas, but Arkansas is in the picture at this point with a versatile guy. I mean, this guy's got, he likes to dunk on defenders. He attacks the glass. He has good handles. He can break down other bigs off the perimeter and get to the basket. And then he's crafty finishing around the basket. So very nice, intriguing player. He can knock down threes here and there. A very skilled guy for a 6'8" power forward who does bring that power game to the court.
Now, you said it's a fast track. Do you think, you've been around recruiting and you've talked to these guys. Do you think that benefits or hurts Arkansas in any way that they only have this short amount of time now that hey, that September deadline is creeping around and he's going to make a decision? How does that affect Arkansas in your mind?
I used to, you would think you need time to build relationships, and that's true. That's still true. There's truth to that. But what do we see in college basketball now? It is so transient. It's so much like the NBA game. Players are coming and going. They don't stick long, and they want to get to the NBA or to the pro levels and make money as soon as they can. And the guys that are ranked in the top 50 are pushing 5-star status, like Malik Renew, Reneau. Those guys aren't necessarily looking for long-term relationships as much as they're looking for what's going to help them get to the next level quickly. Eric Musselman checks a lot of boxes because of his and the staff's, experience, but now they've got proof of concept that it works, getting players exposure, having a winning program that is under a national spotlight. And then Moses Moody, they can point to Thursday and say, we got a guy, first one and done in program history. We not only got him to the NBA, he was a lottery pick. So Arkansas has a lot it can sell, even in a fast track situation, Nick, because I think Arkansas can show players, I know you may know we're new in here with you, but let me show you what we can do, because your whole goal is not to stick around very long anyway. We can help you realize that dream.
Obviously, Arkansas making an impression if they're in one of his top schools. You mentioned the NBA, Kevin, a perfect transition into this next topic, because you and I were on a Zoom just like this with Bobby Portis 2 days ago. Yesterday, it's announced, reported by Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, that he's declining his player option with Milwaukee, going to become a free agent. What's the latest on Portis, and also a couple more pro Hogs that you might have an update on?
Well, you just said it. I mean, we had like a novella of an interview with him, right? 25 minutes. It was great. Had a lot of fun with that. But, he touched on the fact that he might be, looking to opt out. He wasn't sure what he was going to do. Less than 24 hours later, that decision was made. It's the right decision. He has built up a really great season and profile to show that he's worth, I think, on the market, upward 10 and more $million per year. Milwaukee, last year it was up $3.5 million as he came there on a 2-year deal with a player option in the second year, basically betting on himself to raise his profile and increase his chances to increase his paydays moving forward. Now, Milwaukee, to keep him, is probably stuck just under $6 million that it can pay him next year, $5.9 million. It's the mid-level money. But Portis can command more than that. But he talked about how, being in Milwaukee was the best thing for his career. It wasn't just about raising his profile, but it's a great fit for him. He just won an NBA championship. He was a big part of that. He's a national name right now, not as a superstar, but as an important player, but a guy with personality. The fans love him, the people's champ. He was on WWE Live in Milwaukee last night. So here's a guy that might have good reasons to come back to Milwaukee, take more money, but maybe not as much as he can get. Looking forward to a year later when Milwaukee might be able to pay him off and really take care of him. So he's going to have options. Milwaukee's obviously one of them, but I think a lot of teams are going to come after him. And it really, when you start looking at the NBA season with that NBA championship, you think it's over. It's not. Summer League begins next weekend. Guys like Isaiah Joe in his second season going into with the Philadelphia 76ers after being drafted a year ago in the second round. Guys like Justin Smith and Jalen Tate that signed Summer League deals. Smith with the Miami Heat, Tate with the Houston Rockets, where his brother was played last season, made the all-rookie team. But those guys are in the mix. I expect Mason Jones, an undrafted free agent last year that was on a couple of two-way contracts with the Rockets and the Sixers. I think someone's probably going to sign him to a Summer League deal. And of course, the Summer League's a big thing. It's not exactly like NBA basketball, but it's NBA players, the younger players, guys that are still trying to carve out real meaningful roles in the league. And of course, when it's Arkansas, former Hogs, Razorback fans are going to rally around that. Those games are going to be able to be seen nationally on NBA TV for folks that have that. But anyway, the point is that there's a lot of attention right now in Arkansas basketball, not just because of Eric Musselman and his social media game and the results on the court, but a lot of the former Hogs that are making a splash in the NBA right now.
It's going to be fun to watch. You got the Tate brothers over there in Houston, Justin Smith, as you mentioned, Isaiah Joe, a lot of guys that we could be seeing on the court in the Summer League. Kevin, I think we need to drive an ice cream truck to your house with all the work you've been doing this weekend, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, that ice cream truck would be in trouble. It probably would land. I'd probably land on its side and off its wheels if I charged at it.
Well, we appreciate all the insight. Of course, we're going to be looking for more stories on this Warren visit and a couple more recruiting things that you can go check out from our Kevin McPherson. That's our Hog Hoops Report. Kevin, as always, it's a pleasure, man.
Good to be with you, Nick. Thank you, sir.